wished to be here, but they couldn't be. Because of whatever situation they went through, they couldn't make it here. So it's a great blessing for us to be in the house of God and worshiping Him. What the church say? Amen. Again, I would like to thank Him. If you still remember when last I was here preaching was the first week of 2019. I think there's someone who still remembers. It was on the first of January 2019. So now I'm glad also because I'm the one who finished the week which is the last of 2019. Amen. Say I've been the first and the last. Although we are still having one Sabbath, but categorically I can say it's the last again. Amen. Thank you for the leadership for that. Because of our time, I won't have the sermon for the children because we are only 20 minutes to 12. And I know that when it's 12, many people will be thinking to go out. So I don't want to waste much time. I want to first give you my background, a bit of my, I can say it's a testimony about my mother. I was born in 1992, and in 1998, my mother fell sick. She started to be sick on that year in 1999. I can say in the front of church that my first time prayers was meant to pray for my mother. And I had a strong faith because when I prayed for something else, it was happening the way I prayed. So I had that strong faith that if I pray for her, the Lord is going to come and heal her. And the days went on in 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she was still sick, but I still have that faith that my mother will one day be healed because I'm constantly praying for her. I don't remember missing here in my prayer a single day when I got to sleep. I was praying for my mother, but she continued to be sick. My father would take her to any hospital he could afford. I still remember taking her to even outside country, but the disease didn't go away. She was sick. It went 2005, 6, 7, 8 until 2009. She died. And that was 10 years, painful 10 years for her. She was crying all day, all night. She didn't sleep. And I still remember when I was going out with the other kids, when I have that thought that my mother is sick, nothing to be enjoying, even whatever I'm doing, even when I'm playing with my other kids. The Lord didn't appear to heal my mother. Let's open our Bible in the book of John, chapter 11. Our topic of today is if you had been here. That is our topic of today. If you had been here. We are going to base our talk from the 10th chapter of John, verse 22 until verse 4. We go to chapter 11, verse 1 until 52. But because that passage is too long, we won't read all of those passages. But look at the moment. Please read those verses. They will help you understand our topic today. John chapter 10, verse 22 until 40. John 11, verse 1 until 52. We are going to base also our talk on the great controversy 5:1a and 519. We are going to also talk, base our talk in the book of Desire of Age, page 524 until 536. It's a reference of what we are going to talk. Whatever you hear me speaking will be based on those which I have given you. Okay, I'll ask us to open our Bible. John 11. Because of our time, we are going to start from verse 17 until 32. But as I have said, when you are in your quiet moment, just try to read from the verse which I have said, because it's what we are going to talk about today. And it says, when Jesus came, he found out that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as he heard that Jesus was coming, went and met with him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. If you are reading from New King James, it says, my brother could not have died. Verse 23 says, Jesus said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said unto her, verse 25, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, he shall live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? She said unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had said so, she went away and told Mary her sister secretly, saying, The Master is come and calleth for thee. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The Jews then which were with her in the house and comforting her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She got under the grave to weep there. Then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we ask your Holy Spirit now, descend in abundance so that we may explain all the words which have been read in the hearing of your saints. For this we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. It was on the feast of dedication in Jerusalem, and Jesus was walking on the porch of Solomon's porch in the temple. And when the Jews gathered around him and said to him, For how long will you keep us in doubt? If you are Christ, tell us plainly so that we may believe you. But Jesus answered and said to them, I have already told you, but you are not believing in me. And he said to them, I am the Christ. He made them to understand that he is the Christ. But when the Jews saw that he is making himself the Son of God, they picked up stone to kill him. And because of that, Jesus was forced to withdraw from Jerusalem and went to a place far away, which some other Bibles are pointing to John chapter 1 verse 28. It's a Bethany also, another Bethany which is away from near Jerusalem. He went there, that's the place where John the Baptist was baptized. And he went there and he stayed there. But something happened in Bethany. Remember, Jesus had a friend and a family in Bethany. Bethany was near Jerusalem, and the place which he went was far away from Jerusalem. So something strange happened in Bethany. His friend Lazarus, we are starting from verse 1, which says, a man was sick named Lazarus in Bethany, the seat of Mary and his sister Martha. Lazarus fell sick, and because of that, they knew, because they had a friend in Jesus, they had to call for Jesus. They sent a messenger and told Jesus that, behold, the one whom thou lovest is sick. But guess what happened when Jesus heard that his friend Lazarus is sick? He said, his sickness is not of death, but that the Son of God may be glorified through it. The Bible goes on to say, Jesus loved Martha and Mary and Lazarus. But when he heard that he was sick, he stayed for 2 more days. Have you ever been through a situation when you are calling up for the Lord to appear, because we as human beings don't know the timing of Jesus, we may wonder what Jesus is doing. Why is it that Jesus is not appearing? But the Bible is telling us he loved Lazarus and his sister and Mary. But when he heard that he is sick, he stayed 2 more days. I mean, it's like to say, Mr. Lucas loves his wife so much that when he heard that she is sick, he stayed where he was for 2 more days because he loved her. It's kind of ununderstandable in our thought, because we are human beings. We are not aware of all the plans which Jesus had. But the Bible tells us that Jesus answered and said, this sickness is not for death, but for the glory of God. Ellen G. White says, because the messenger which went to call for Jesus came and said, Jesus said, this sickness is not unto death. They said, Ellen White says, as long as the bread was still in Lazarus' life, they were still having hope, because Jesus said this sickness is not unto death. They had that strong belief that he is going to come, and when he arrives, no matter what, even if he finds him in his ICU, he will be well, because Jesus said this sickness is not unto death. But guess what happened? Lazarus died. It seems the end of all his history, of all story, because the hope was already there. They buried him, and on the first day Jesus didn't appear. Just imagine, when you hear that your friend died, you don't even go to visit them to the hospital, and you don't even go to their funeral. You don't even go to comfort the family up until 3 days. Jesus did not appear. After 4 days, that's when Jesus appeared. As we have read from verse 17, it says, when he arrived, he didn't enter straight in the house of Mary and Martha. I asked myself, why is it that he came but he stayed on the wayside? He didn't enter straight. I had gone to read on Ellen White, the passage which I have already told you. She said the Jews had the custom which did not match with the spirit of Jesus. She says that they were hiring mourners to help them to weep. They were hired mourners which were weeping for them. It was an outward appearance, like to show that they loved their family a lot. That's what all the Jews were doing, and also this family was doing that. And she said that when he heard the wailing from afar off, he wasn't pleased, because he knew that those kind of crying was not a genuine crying, but an outward appearance. That's why he stayed on the wayside. He did not enter straight on the house. But he sent the messenger to say that I am already here. When Martha heard that Jesus had come, she went out to meet him. When we are in verse 32 of chapter 11, it says that when Martha came to him, the first words to say to him was, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. I have already told you that this family had a strong belief that if Jesus appears, he is going to heal them. He is going to heal them. But he did not appear in time as it seemed in their own perspective. That's why Mary had to say, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Yes, I'm saying we are judging some other people because of the situation which they are in. But if you had been there for them, do you think that thing could have happened? If you had been there for your family, some of the bad things which happen in our life could not have happened. If you had been there for that girl, maybe she could not get pregnant. Only if you had been there. We as human beings, I'm taking it from the perspective of human beings, we run out of time. Jesus is the only one who does not run out of time. That's why if you read all the Bible, you will never hear that Jesus ran or God ran, because he don't have to catch out the time, because he existed before. He's not restricted by time. But we as human beings, we must be there in time for our fellow brothers. If there is any kind of help you can offer to a sick brother, you must offer it in fully. Maybe it will not happen what would happen if you did not help them. That's why, having that kind of mind, Martha had to tell to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother could not have died. But she goes on to say, but I know that whatever you ask of God, God will grant it for you. And Jesus had to comfort her and say, your brother will rise again. But she answered and said, yes, Lord, I know that he will arise again in the later day when you come for the second time. That's the problem. That's where the problem started. When Martha started to show that she understood better than Jesus. Jesus is the one who said, your brother is going to rise again. But she is trying to explain when is that going to happen. One thing which she did not know is that the person which is speaking to is the person whom he is going to raise her in the second coming. So she did not fully know. Have you ever found yourself knowing everything? There is another not man who says one who does not know, that say no, that he does not know. Meaning when when that you do not know. It's if you don't know, you don't know. But if you know that some don't know, you be open up for still kind of ideas. When a person will be approached with some kind of idea, like ready to situate in that door, that and unhappy if that situation, if you think ideal situation, but if you know that's when it starts, not it starts. Jesus, so she didn't fully know. That's why he fights to say, we are in Jesus' verse 28, to tell like I am nation. And Jesus would not know it, but Jesus is the going function. Resurrection. He is resurrection. Not only resurrection, the life also. Only the resurrection, but why life also. John 5, verse 12. First verse to life says, whoever knows Jesus and has his life. Because when Jesus did his life, on chapter remember, he repeated same thing, same book after the 14th having of disciples of John. And when he was at his disciples, he said, I believe you all believe, be not me. The Father in God, and many also in my soul, I will house the house you mentioned. I got people are not afraid and if prepare come against for you. If I go, I'll cut self and take to the way I go, you know, and the way where I go and you also say, Thomas, you know, I know what you are going. Why is it that not saying that where you go, you know, you are sick? Where I did not wait to tell on verse 6 chapter of John that speaks of I am according to wait and truth and the life is the way of life. Jesus, if you want life, you must know this one truth with Jesus. If you follow his way, that's why he if you follow that, you will be lost. If because him is the way, never he is not the way. He is, but also life. The only you are going to the way to the with Jesus. Into life at the same time, behaving your direction life can end the life itself. Because I am the life. The truth is the life. Way if I can tell and the truth a bit. Also, we are living about it. It's true. Also, you have put if you in the way of 20 years, saying that for the Oxford Dictionary was for the truth. Considering the situation, what is happening around the world, fake news, fake things, and down the fake things which we are hearing day in and day out. We had to choose first the truth as the best word for the year because we are no longer living in truth. But if you have Jesus, you have truth. I'm willing to say, if you find yourself talking lies most of the time, you are on the opposite direction with Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ is truth, but the opposite is Satan, who is the father of lies. That's why Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life itself. Do you want life? Follow the way, which is the true way to life. Coming to the situation of Mary, of Martha, when she said, I know that you are going to raise him in the latter day. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Who believes in me, though they may die, but they will live again. And after that, Martha went out and called for Mary and said, the teacher has come and is calling for you. When Mary heard that Jesus is on the city, she left it hastily and went to meet with Jesus. And when she met him for the first time, she also had to say, Lord, if you had been here, my brother could not have died. It was a repetition on the family. if Jesus appeared for this situation earlier before it happened, it would have not happened. But Jesus did not say a word to her this time. When he saw those Jews which came out with her, weeping and making all those kind of wail, and see the face of Mary and Martha weeping, the Bible says he was groaning in himself. He was troubled. He did not afford that kind of situation. And he had to say to him, "Where did you lay him?" And they said, "Lord, come and see." They went with him, and when he was there, the Bible says Jesus wept. But my question was, why is it that Jesus is weeping, considering that he knows what he's going to do now? Is he weeping for the dead man? Why is it he is weeping? I mean, he could have just said, "No, don't weep, because now I'm going to I'm going to resurrect him." But Jesus weeps. When I went in search of that kind of behavior, why is it that Jesus had to weep? I had found out that he wept because he knew what would happen after. Those people who are weeping now, being hired mourners, they did not have a really genuine sympathy for the family. He knew that afterwards, after I raised him up, they are going to plot not only the death of Jesus Christ only, but also the death of Lazarus also. Because they knew that the testimony of the man who was raised from the dead was too powerful to convince whoever will hear it. That's why he knew that afterwards they will plot to kill him again, even though I'm going to raise him up now. That's why Jesus had to weep. Afterwards he made a prayer to the Lord and say, "It is because of this congregation that I'm praying, that they may believe that you sent me." And afterwards he calls out Lazarus out of bed, and Lazarus came out bound. And as they, Ellen White says, as they were rejoicing that Lazarus had been resurrected from the dead, Jesus disappeared from the scene. But one thing which I wanted us to stress out is that afterwards, those people who were weeping with Jesus, because they were there for money, the Bible says many believed, but some went to the Pharisees and make that information to be known to them. And they held a council and they said, "What will we do to this man? Because he's making many signs. If we leave him alone, all the Jews will believe to him, and the Romans will not like that, because they will think another kingdom has arrived in Israel. That's why they will come and destroy all of our nation." And one, being a high priest, called Caiaphas by name, he had to say, "You do know nothing, all of you, because don't you know that it is expedient for us that one man should die instead of all nations perish?" Caiaphas did not know what he was saying. As the Bible says that he did not speak of his own authority. His stroke went through. Yes, it was expedient that one person should die for the sins of the whole universe. But as we are going through the trials and temptations of life, sometimes answers does not come immediately, but we must always be patient to wait for the answer, even if it seems to be late in our own situation. But God and Jesus knows the perfect time. In the situation of Lazarus, he took 4 days to appear after the death. But it can be different from your situation. It is different from my situation. I mean, I said my mother spent 10 years, painful years sick. but Jesus did not appear while I was praying all day and night. But some may be asking now, what is your comfort then? Because you said your mother passed away, and it seems the situation was hopeless at all. But it wasn't, because I know that one day he's going to come. He's still prepared. It is 10 years from 2019, from 2009 until now. It is 10 years ago. But I know 10 years is little comparing to what we will enjoy in heaven. We here when we are here. Jesus knows the perfect time. The only thing we have to do is to wait and wait patiently. Because of time, I could have gone counting you the story of this hymn which we have sung, which is the Song 100. It says, "Why can we have in Jesus?" It was written by a certain person by the name of Joseph Mediford Stephen, an Irish poet, and he has undergone many trials in his life. I mean, first he was about to be married, but the day before the marriage, her fiancé drowned and he died. Just imagine, tomorrow I'm going to be married, but today my bride is dying. He left Irish and went to Canada, and there he worked as a teacher. And as he was working there, he fell in love with another girl. But when they were engaged, days after, that girl also caught a disease called pneumonia, and she died also. He spent the whole life without a love, without a wife. But when he heard his mother was sick, he had to write a letter, which is a poem, and he said, "What a friend we have in Jesus." Jesus is still a good friend, even though the things are not going well in our lives. Jesus is still fine. He is still God when the situation does not go according to our will. But we must always have faith that He is going to be there. Being soon or later, but He is going to be there. That's why now I'm singing with a certain person by the name of Rufus Cornelius. He has a song and said, "Oh, I want to see Him, look upon His face, there to sing forever of His saving grace. On the streets of glory, just let me lift up my voice and cry and say, trials are all past, tribulations are all past, sorrow are all past, death by itself is already past, and I am home at last." May the good Lord bless the reading of His word.
Amen.